Fallout 3 is a massively expansive game with an amazing number of ways for you to build your character and wander the wastelands of Washington, D.C. However, for newcomers to the game, a first playthrough, while fun, can be a difficult and floundering experience of learning how to play and construct your character. Even people who think they know what they're doing may come to a very cruel realization late in the game when they come to discover the level cap. The primary purpose of this guide is to show you how to get as far as you can with your character before you reach your maximum level of 20 and you cease to grow altogether. We all must crawl before we can walk, but pointers are always helpful and for most people welcome. Using that concept as a base, there are some rules and guidelines I have that you should follow in order to make a truly powerful FallOut avatar. First off are your special attributes. These 7 governing elements affect all of your character's skills. For every 1 point that you put into a special attribute, the skills it holds dominion over are raised by 2 points. The exception to this rule is luck, which affects all your points but on a much smaller scale. For every point you put towards luck, there is a 0.5 or half a point increase to all your skills. Without putting 2 points into luck, you will see no increase in any of your skills, but every point does increase your critical strike chances by 1%, so luck has a certain amount of usefulness beyond modifying your skills. All your special attributes should be kept to a minimum of 5 points to remain well-rounded, but 4 of the additional 5 points you have to spend should without a question and irrefutably be spent on intelligence to put it up to 9. The reason for this is that every time you level up, you are given a certain number of skill points to distribute amongst your skills. With every point of intelligence you have, you gain 1 additional skill point to distribute every time you level. Now you may ask, why not just make your intelligence 10 to reap the maximum reward? The reason why you should never raise any special attribute above 9 is because of the collectibles called bobbleheads. Within the game, there is a bobblehead for each special attribute, which will permanently raise 1 of the 7 attributes by a single point. Picking up the bobblehead for intelligence right after you leave the vault without ascending to level 3 means that you will have maxed out your intelligence and have another special point in a different area right off the bat, while reaping the maximum intelligence benefit early in the game. Now there's the problem of how to use the special point you have left over. This is really up to you, but here's a rundown of how putting a single point in one of the other 6 special attributes will affect gameplay. Strength will add 2 points to melee weapons and 10 points to your maximum carry weight. Perception increases energy weapons, explosives, and lockpicking each by 2 points, as well as making compass markers appear sooner. Endurance ups your big guns and unarmed by 2 points each, along with tacking on an extra 20 points of health. Charisma improves your barter and speech skills each by 2 points, and improves people's disposition towards you. Agility pumps 2 points into your small guns and sneak skills each, while infusing you with 2 extra action points for VATS. Finally, as I already said, luck will give every skill half a point while adding 1% to your critical chances in combat. The next thing to cover are your tag skills, which are chosen when you take the GOAT, but before you take the test, you need to pick up the medical bobblehead on your father's desk. This will increase your medical skill by 10 points. The skills you choose to tag will instantly gain 15 points, so obviously they should be skills you plan on using often. The 13 skills can fit into 3 categories: combat, support, and secondary. Generally speaking, you should choose 1 skill to tag from each category, unless you're going for a very weighted and one-sided character build. Combat consists of big guns, energy weapons, explosives, melee weapons, small guns, and unarmed. I would not suggest big guns, melee weapons, or unarmed, because the former's weapons weigh a considerable amount and ammo drops are infrequent, while the latter 2 have limited use at later levels. Explosives is a reasonable choice, but a bit useless until later in the game when you have plenty of grenades to toss about. Energy weapons aren't a bad idea either, but they play a larger role later in the game, so you'll be hurting all through the beginning if you go that route. I strongly suggest small guns though, as it covers your accuracy with handguns, long-range rifles, assault rifles, and shotguns, aka every common gun in the game. For support skills, there's medicine, repair, and sneak. If you followed my advice on special points, you'll already have a rather high medicine skill, so I wouldn't suggest tagging it. But the higher your med skill, the more health you gain from stim packs, so it's not a bad choice. Sneak is a good option, but totally useless unless you obviously plan on sneaking a lot. The repair skill though is probably a much better choice than the other 2 options because of how it allows you to retain equipment condition in the field. On a side note, I should explain that in order to repair weapons or armor, you need a second item of the same model to pull parts off of for maintenance. This may seem like a stupid idea, but look at it this way. If you pick up 4 10mm pistols and it's too much of a burden to run with all of them, you can eliminate 3 by repairing 1, freeing up weight in the process, and it'll sell better to a vendor than 4 broken guns any day. Finally, there's secondary skills, consisting of barter, lockpicking, science, and speech. This is one area where I don't really have any suggestions on which to choose, so I'll just tell you what each one does. Barter lowers the prices on items you purchase from traders, so the higher your barter skill, the less items will cost you. Lockpick and silence are almost one and the same. When there's a safe that's locked, you have the option to pick the tumblers, but often there's also a computer terminal nearby that you can hack to disengage the same lock. This isn't always the case though. There are some locks, most frequently on doors, that can only be picked, and there are terminals that frequently only control security turrets. They also have the same limit systems or difficulty, ranging from very easy to very hard, marking off every skill limit at every 25-point mark. Finally, there's speech, which defines how successful you'll be at speech challenges, and how likely you are to extract information from people who don't like you. After you leave the vault, the first thing that happens to you is you'll level up. How you spend your points is entirely up to you, but I will say that you should try to remain focused on the skills you think or you know you'll use. That way you'll have an easier time playing the game in your own personal way. The first thing you want to do after seeing sunlight for the first time is go directly to Rivet City and not gain a single level. If you don't know, Rivet City is located in the bottom right corner of the wasteland near the DC ruins. Getting there is fairly simple. All you have to do is travel almost directly south from Megaton, and when you reach the end of the map, travel directly east. It's important that you don't fight any enemies on the way to avoid leveling up, so just keep your weapons down, don't take them out, and simply run for your life. If you want more details on how to get to Rivet City, check the video description for a link to a recording of my run starting from when I exit Vault 101 to Megaton and all the way down to Rivet City, without fighting any assailants.
Welcome to Rivet City. Please wait while the bridge extends.
Once you reach Rivet City, you want to head directly to the science lab inside. If you get lost while trying to find it, just look at the various signs on the walls for directions. In the lab, on the line of tables on the far end, you'll find the bobblehead for intelligence. Once you pick it up, you should max out your special for intelligence, and will now gain the maximum benefit from it, in the form of having 20 points to distribute each time you level up. Though that may seem like all, there's one final thing to mention. As you play the game, when you ascend to level 4, you need to choose the Educated perk. The reason for this is that it grants you an additional 3 points to distribute when you level up. If you follow the advice in this video altogether, then by the time you reach level 20, you'll have spent 137 more skill points during level ups than if you had left your intelligence at the default and not chosen the Educated perk.